All right, welcome to this video, guys. In this video, we'll talk about how you can use peak performance as a real estate agent to scale your business. And today I am joined with Christopher Dedeyen. He used to be a real estate broker, and now he is a professional speaker, peak performance expert who helps entrepreneurs, leaders, employees, and also real estate brokers manage their stress better, increase their productivity, and also have more energy. So Chris, thanks for joining me.
Thank you, Michael. It's my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Sure. So let's get right into it. So what can real estate brokers do to seek out more efficiency out of themselves to scale their business?
So honestly, every single time I talk about peak performance and I do coaching on that, which actually I do have a lot of real estate brokers, and this is for real estate brokers, but it's for any human being or entrepreneur. It really starts with the base of who they are as an individual. So to tweak their rituals and their habits daily, that's what's going to give them major success in the long run. Now, if we talk more specifically, that could be what time they're waking up. That could be what they're doing in the morning. That could be how they're setting their intention for the day, how they're bundling their work for one specific activity. When I mean bundling, we'll kind of get into that as well, but like more specific work instead of spread out. So imagine, let me go more specific so it could be a bit more clear here. So imagine real estate brokers, a big part of their business has to do with prospecting. So even if you're a successful broker or you're beginning some way, some shape, you have to be prospecting in some level. And one activity that could be interesting is prospecting a long period of time for one specific day instead of spreading it out in smaller bursts of time throughout your week. And that will actually help you get into the state of flow, which we could obviously get into. But yeah, just little things here and there. So the base of it is really changing the human being of how they take care of themselves, their rituals, what do they eat, what is their sleeping cycle, which is going to get them have a higher level of energy, which is going to go all throughout the day, and it's going to get them great results, great impact, and great income at the end of the day for their business.
Right. So it's really everything that's happening behind the scenes eventually, right?
100%. Like, man, that's, I love that. Thank you for that analogy, because you know, when they say, and Usain Bolt always says he's the fastest man on earth. He's like, listen, he's like, the race is not the actual place. He's like, I win not at the race. I win when I'm training, when nobody's seeing me, when my coach is not there. That's when I win. That's when the victory comes. So that's the same thing as an entrepreneur. You have to think of that. It's not when you're in front of a client. It's not when you're in the office. Everything happens before that. It's the process that's going to get you to higher levels, is what you're doing when nobody's looking at you. And like we said, everybody, especially like I know the real estate industry, it's very money driven, which is beautiful. But the end goal is, if you're not taking care of yourself, you won't be able to go get those higher levels of income at a sustainable way without hitting the wall with a lack of energy, with a lack of balance within your life, and so on and so forth.
Yeah. And so talking about routine, because I know, obviously I run a marketing agency that specializes in real estate. So I talk to a lot of real estate brokers just like you. And one thing I notice, and I think real estate brokers are known for this, is always being available 24/7 to offer the best service possible to their clients. Now, do you think because I'm sure a lot of brokers are watching this and they're like, okay, so how can I actually have a routine in place? Because, I'm having calls here and there. Like, how would you structure your day as a real estate broker to be as efficient as possible?
So, Michael, that is a great question, because like you said, that is one of the biggest limiting beliefs that unfortunately a lot of entrepreneurs have, and more specifically brokers over here, because they think that they always have to be around their phone, that, oh my God, they have to answer this, answer that, because if not, the deal is going to fall through, or whatever the case is. Now, granted, there are periods that you have to be a bit more on. If there is a specific deal and like it's going to come in or whatever, like, there are some moments that you have to be more aware. But that being said, it's not because the client tells you jump, you should answer how high. If you place a certain structure with your client right off the bat, which is, hey, this is the time that I work, from this time to that time, You ask them, what is the best way I could communicate with you? Is it through text? Is it through emails? Is it through phone calls? Whatever the case is, you're placing a structure, and then you explain, hey, you know what? 1 day a week, these are the days actually that I am not available, which imagine, let's say Sunday, it's a day off or whatever day you choose. But you explain to them, hey, if there's a transaction happening during that time, obviously I'm there for you. So that you keep this structure. And trust me, these people will respect that. I have never, me personally, like I said, now I'm not in the brokerage industry anymore, but I was in it for 5 years. I never had once a client tell me, hey, how come you take a day off a week? Like, obviously, like, come on, everybody takes a day off a week, a minimum. So brokers think that they always have to be on, they always have to be there. But by doing that, they are unfortunately not taking care of themselves. And sometimes, and some clients I have like this too, they're like, oh, Chris, it's just one email, it's just one this, it's just one that. Unfortunately, it's not just one thing or the other. Even if that activity is 1 second during your day off, what happens is you're anchored. There's neural networks within your mind that once you do a specific activity that is good work, activates, and it's like, hey, I'm working. So your work mode is on. So even though you might be with your family, but you're sending an email for this or that, you still have that, hey, I'm a businessman, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. So you don't take the role of, imagine a father, like a significant other, or so on and so forth. So you have to be acutely aware to really anchor yourself at these proper moments and not activate what you want to activate when it comes to, is it a day off or is it a day on? So that's essentially a global answer to that. But yeah, that could definitely be a strategy.
Got it. So essentially, it's about setting the right expectations up front with their clients and potential clients. And I agree. I think it's really important. If you set a certain expectation, or if you don't set any expectations at all, then of course your clients are going to contact you at any given time, and you're going to be stressed out all the time, right?
100%. So that 100%, Michael, very accurate on that. If you're not setting that structure, it's not going to be respected. Now, the number one thing is you have to respect your own structure. You have to respect your own agenda, because if you're not respecting it, how is somebody else going to respect it? So if you say, hey, client, listen, I work from 9 to 9, and then the client calls you at 10, and then you answer, this is not the client's fault, you answered. So he calls back at 11, you answer again, and like, hey, I told him, how come he's calling me? Why are you answering? That's the proper question. It's not how come he's calling you. So we have to be able to structure this in a way that you do know that you're going to be having the proper mindset and balance within your life. If we're talking about specifically here for balance within a work-life balance, essentially.
Yeah. And 100% agree with you, Chris. And so what can real estate brokers do to have more energy? Let's say, maybe they have a plateau right now. They're feeling as though they're working at their maximum capacity, or if they try to push more, they will crash. So what are other things, or what are things, maybe like a few tips or a few things that they can implement to, like I said, seek out more energy out of themselves?
Okay. So I definitely have I'm going to give you something. I'm going to give you gold right now with what I'm going to tell you. This is something that I teach to my coaching clients, something I practice all the time. Before getting into that though, with the energy aspect, the number one thing is, if ever you feel in a position that like, hey, I feel like I have less energy and maybe I'm this, maybe I'm that, be acutely aware of what are the signs, what is your body telling you? Because maybe you might just be extremely tired and you might be looking for, hey, maybe I should go on a vacation. So just be aware, because these are signs that are extremely important to look at. Now look at, is this me being tired? Is this me being lazy, procrastinating? What is my body telling me? So that's the first thing. Just be aware of what the signs are telling you to act accordingly. Because like I said, I know brokers, when the season comes, and even not this season, whatever the case is, these people work extremely hard and sometimes they don't notice it, right? So that's the first thing. Now, if I go more specifically, Michael, over here, and I give you like the top 4 keys to watch and to do within your day on a like daily ritual that's going to increase your energy, your level, your vibration, like in like tenfolds, would be this. So the first key that you're going to have to do is you're going to have to start practicing your breathing. Now you're telling me, Chris, the hell are you talking about, man? Like I breathe all the time, right? Yeah, absolutely. Subconsciously, we do breathe, right? Without even knowing it. But if you actually activate your breathing mechanism and you do techniques like box breathing or so on and so forth, what happens is it activates something within your body that's called the limbic system. Now, the limbic system, I'm not going to go too much in detail unless you want me to, but the limbic system, essentially, it's like the It's like the system that I have in French. Sorry, how do you say it in English? Like the part of like, okay, let me say it like this. Imagine your body is essentially a house, right? Let's keep it like in the same concept as brokers. The water that comes into your house and you use that water and you clean and you wash, and that is, let's say, your blood. Now, once the water is used and it gets dirty, it gets down in the sewage system. Your limbic system is actually the sewage system. So the sewage system, in this case, the limbic system, unfortunately doesn't have a pump like the heart that pumps the blood. So that's the water in this analogy. So how you activate your limbic system to really take out all the negative things that were which in your body, or like the things that your body doesn't need anymore, is through breathing techniques. And once again, I'm going to give a specific way to do this. So a technique to really activate your limbic system is to do a method of 1, 4, 2. So those are ratios. That means inhale for 1 count, hold for 4 count, exhale for 2 count. Now these are ratios, so you could add, so you could go 2, 8, 4, and whatever the case is, so on and so forth. The ratio, you guys understand it. So that's the first thing. You have to practice your breathing. Furthermore, if you do this during your work day or whatever the case is, your level of creativity goes up and your level of fatigue goes down, essentially. You become so much more energized. So that's number 1 thing. Number 2, it's not going to be a surprise. I hope it's not a surprise. Aerobic exercise, a minimum of once a day. So aerobic exercise could be going to the gym, could be running, could be walking, whatever the case is. Just take a few minutes to get your heart beating a bit faster. Take a minute to kind of sweat. It does not have to be an hour. Like I can give you a Tabata workout for 4 minutes and you go really hard for 4 minutes, you get a solid workout. So once a day, take the time to do something, a physical activity, all right? The third thing over here would be drink a lot of water, okay? Drinking a lot of water. Now, the ratio that I could give over here, maybe is, sorry for being a bit like explicit, but drink until you pee white, essentially. So drink a lot of water. And if you want something more way to calculate it, whatever your weight is, so let's say you weigh 160. You're going to take that weight, 160, divide it in half, so it's going to be 80. Calculate that 80 in ounces. So you should be drinking an average of 80 ounces. So somebody weighs 160, takes that 160, divides it in half, becomes 80. That's what you should be drinking in ounces. So that's the water aspect, the tip number 3. Now, finally, the fourth one, once again, it should not be a surprise. It's what are you consuming when it comes to food? Now, once again, I am not a proponent or somebody that believes in necessarily dieting, to be quite honest, because studies have shown once people diet, they have weight loss and all that stuff. It's beautiful, but a couple of years down the line, they actually gain back that weight because it's not something sustainable. I'm talking about lifestyle here. So the best way to calculate and to look at, am I eating healthy food? 70% of your food should be something that's based out of water, or more specifically, something that if you leave on the counter for a couple of days later you come back, it's going to be old. So something not processed. We're talking about fruits, we're talking about vegetables, we're talking about salad, anything that has life in it, essentially. So those are the 4 main things that you could do that if you do it consistently every single day, your level of energy is going to increase in an amazing way.
Yeah, 100% agree with you. And I even experienced this myself where I decided to just cut all the processed food on days that I do work, 6 days a week. And, I give myself a little treat on Saturday on my day off, but it makes a huge difference in terms of my energy levels, my focus, the clarity I have like inside my mind. So yeah, I couldn't agree more with you, Chris, here on there. So also, could you touch on sleep? Because, out there in the space of entrepreneurs, real estate brokers, there's a lot of, you go on Instagram, you go on Facebook, there's a lot of quotes and also gurus on YouTube saying you got to hustle, you got to grind, I'll sleep when I'm dead. Like these things, like, do you think sleep is important?
Once again, I love that we brought this up because this is something that is very polarizing, and especially in the entrepreneurial journey, in the entrepreneurial industry. And like you said, all of those quotes of hustle, I'll sleep when I'll die. Nah, bro, listen, if you go hard and you don't sleep for years and years and years, I don't care who you are, you're going to hit a freaking big wall, and you're going to hit that wall and it's going to hurt. And if you don't believe me, go study, go check out what's her name?
Huffington Post, right?
Huffington
Ariana,
Post. Well,
Ariana,
Ariana, I was looking
yeah,
for her first name. Thank you,
yeah,
Michael.
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, Ariana Huffington, she speaks about this very eloquently, that she used to work like crazy, crazy, crazy. And then one day she literally fainted and broke open her head on her desk. And then she woke up in a like puddle of blood, her own blood. And she's like, wait a minute, I'm doing something wrong. So I'm a huge believer in sleep. Now people think, I could go into this as well, because this is like my jam. Like I wake up at 4 a.m, but I go to bed like 8:30. I meditate and have like a whole structure. I get the number of hours of sleep that I need. Now, when you're sleeping, what's happening is everything you've learned throughout the day is getting compounded in the proper places within your brain. Let me explain it in a way of, let's say your brain is Amazon, right? So throughout the day, you're awake, you're learning a bunch of stuff. So learning a bunch of stuff is, imagine buying something. So you're learning something new. Okay, I'm buying this, I'm buying that, I'm buying that. So what happens is, once you're buying it, throughout the day, it goes to a certain part of your brain. That certain part of the brain, let's say it's the warehouse. When you go to bed, what happens is, while you're sleeping, the little delivery truck goes, picks up what you learned, and then brings it to the part of the brains that is going to stay sustainably something that you're going to remember for the rest of your life. If you do not take care of that, you do not sleep, you're not allowing your brain and your body to activate those neurons, create those new neural networks within your mind. So there is no way, like, listen, neuroscience has backed it, has proven it. There is no way that I will believe that, oh, don't sleep, you don't need it. No, you're going to be less effective. I don't care what it is. For me personally, literally, and now I'm going on solid rants, Michael, you'll see, man. This is why I'm a professional speaker. I could talk until tomorrow morning. But
go on.
in the beginning of the day, me personally, my brain is at different wavelengths. My decision taking, my creativity is through the roof. As the day goes on, I literally see my cognitive level diminishes significantly. That is why all my important tasks, all my creative tasks, I put in the morning. In the afternoon, all I put are meetings that are less cerebral, all right? Interviews that are more fun, that are less cerebral, once again. And let me bring back to broker. I used to do this exact same methodology when I was a broker. So what does that mean for me as a broker? I used to put all my prospecting in the morning. I used to put my CRMs, my whatever I was looking for properties in the morning, in the like the beginning afternoon. That's when I started my visits. That's when I started valuing the properties face-to-face with clients. That's what I did. Other things like that. Went to networking events, whatever the case is. I never used to put like the more cerebral activities at the end of the day, just because you have a certain amount of decision that you could take for within the day. And as you go on through the day, your decisions become less and less effective.
Yep, 100% agree with you. And to touch on sleep, I don't know what's your opinion on that, but I share the same view as you. And also one tool that I bought a few months ago that really helped me with my sleep is a Oura ring. So I don't know if you guys can see well, but because of the lighting, but it's basically a ring I wear when I sleep that tracks my sleep, tells me also what stages I was in and for how long. So for example, the deep sleep tells me, like, for example, I was in my deep sleep for 2.5 hours. And also my REM sleep, which is rapid eye movement sleep, which is associated, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's associated with memory, creating those memories, creativity.
You're dreaming.
Yep, the dreaming. So it gives me a bunch of stats that is useful, so that after that I can adapt, change things, test out different approaches, and see how I can improve my sleep, so that then I can have more energy and scale my business, and just also not just my business, but also improve just myself in general in all the aspects of my life.
Okay, Michael, let me just geek out for a second, because that is amazing. I have no idea what this ring is. So I'm going to ask you some questions, because I've never heard of this. Is this a ring that's linked up with an application? Does it have like any waves like to it? How does it work? Give me a bit more information, because like I said, I'm geeking out about it. This is my stuff.
Yeah. So basically it's tied to an app. So you have an app on your phone. You can, I don't know if you're probably aware of like EMF, like Wi-Fi routers emitting EMFs, like radiations. You can actually have how is it called? An airplane mode on it, so it doesn't emit any EMF when you sleep.
The ring that you're talking about?
Yeah, exactly. So like it's really safe. Like compared to like an Apple Watch, it's more accurate because it's directly on your finger. And this company basically specialize in that, as compared to like Apple, which they have like a bunch of functionality on their Apple Watch. They only do that. And also what I love about it is the fact that you can wear it and nobody notice it. And then when you take a look at it, you can see like, I don't know if you guys would be able to see, but like there's like little pieces of tech inside it. So I think it's pretty cool.
Michael, I swear to God, first of all, how much is that? How much
I think
retail for?
I think it's, how much did I pay? I think it's like 250 if I'm not mistaken,
Okay.
US.
Okay, so yeah, I'm definitely gonna give that a shot. So once we're done this, you're gonna send me the link for that. I'm definitely gonna geek out, and if it's worth it, I'm definitely gonna tell all my clients about it because these are things that I definitely guide them through. That being said, is your phone in your room with this thing next to you, or you could leave it in another room and it's no issue at all? It has like internal memory, or how does it work essentially? It just
Yeah,
hooks up to the Wi-Fi. That's it.
yeah, correct. So basically, you don't have to have your phone next to it. You could leave your ring on airplane mode for a whole week and never check the app. And then a whole week later, you come back and you check all of your stats. So really, you don't even need Wi-Fi. It just connects with Bluetooth. So in the morning, basically, I always make sure that my phone, until I have everything done in my routine, my morning routine, my phone is always on airplane mode,
Yeah, I
so
love
that
it.
I have, the most focus I can have, the more clarity and all of that. So I can actually look up my stats even though I don't have any Wi-Fi or data, just through Bluetooth. So I think it's really good.
Awesome. So, man, that is amazing. Thank you for sharing that gem. I hope everybody open up their ears, and if they're geeks like us that really is into personal development and they want to analyze their sleep, wow, that sounds amazing. Like I said, I'm definitely going to look into it. So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to looking into that. Thank you for that.
Yeah, sure, no worries. So would you have any advice you'd give to real estate brokers specifically that are trying to scale their business? And when I say advice, I'm talking more about mindset as advice as well.
So, mindset advice to scaling their business. So, obviously, I mean, listen, I could talk about prospect this, prospect that, go meet people. The more people you tell that you're a real estate broker, the more transactions you're gonna have. It's all true. It's tried and true. But let me give you something that maybe most possibly not a lot of people will talk about. So there are ways to increase this and bend your reality when it comes to creating certain, essentially like the law of attraction, certain vision boards behind this. And now when you talk about law of attraction, let me just put a caveat here. I'm not talking about a hulu la la stuff. I'm talking about literally things that are science based. So I want everybody that is listening to this, real estate brokers, if you guys have a goal of X number of sales for your real estate business and whatever the case is, when you go to sleep, as we're talking about, this is a good segue. I want you to literally see yourself hitting those numbers. I want you to literally see yourself and feel yourself. What does it feel like walking with like, hey, I'm the dude that made $250,000. I got that trophy. I'm the dude that helped like 30 families find new homes, and you feel what that feels like, and you're feeling it. Hey, you're just imagining yourself like it's a movie, walking into your office with that pride. And now why I'm telling you to do this when it comes to when you are literally falling asleep and you're sleeping is because we have to know that your brain has different brain waves. I'm going to take a few minutes to explain because there's definitely some value here. So first and foremost, you have to understand the first brain wave is gamma, which is an extremely high wave. It happens when you have like a aha moment, when you have an idea, like, oh my God, that's a gamma wave. Then you go to beta wave. Beta is the wave that me and Michael are at. Everybody's listening to this at right now, mostly because we're in a awakened state. Then you go into alpha and theta. So alpha is when you're in a more relaxed state. Maybe you're done your work, you're sitting down listening to music, you're closing your eyes, you're just in that moment. Maybe you started meditating. And then theta is even more going into the subconscious and into like I'm falling asleep, but you're still awake. I could explain that like imagine you're on vacation, you're on the beach, you're on this nice chair, the sun is hitting your face, you hear the waves just going in and out, like you know where you are, but you're kind of going in and out of consciousness. And then finally, the delta, which is completely sleeping. Now, what is important here to know? When you're in the alpha and the theta state, that is the place that is the direct correlation to your subconscious mind. We have to understand that there's the conscious mind and subconscious mind. The conscious mind has a smaller part to play, And the subconscious mind has a huge part to play within your success, within who you are, within what you believe, within your mindset. Now, the caveat over here is to access your subconscious mind, you have to go through the conscious mind. So the way that I could project it or explain it, the subconscious is the earth. The conscious is the gardener feeding the water to the plant and the seeds and taking care of it. That's the way you have to look at it. But without the earth, there's nothing, right? So while you're doing this activity of imagining how many transactions you want, just feeling what it is to be that realtor that you are projecting while you're falling asleep, it is literally getting put into your subconscious mind. Now, once again, these are all things that are backed by neuroscience. Go research it. If you guys have any questions, you can reach out to me. My name is Christopher Dedan. On all platforms, it's Christopher Dedan. It will be my pleasure to help you out with that. But that's one technique that is definitely thinking outside of the box that I'm sure not a lot of people practice or think about. This is something that I've used for years. I've manifested so many things, and these are things that I use with my coaching clients, and they have created immense amount of impact and wealth and community within their lives as well.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, I agree. And you know what? I actually read a book a few months back, and I think it's definitely one of the best book I've read so far. It's called Psycho-Cybernetics. I don't know if you read about it. I don't know if you read it.
I haven't read about it, but I've heard of it. Who's the author?
I think it's Max, what is it? Maxwell something.
John Maxwell. Okay, yes.
Yeah,
John
exactly.
Maxwell?
Something like that.
Yeah, there's a bunch of books. Okay, cool.
Yeah. And basically I learned that, you know, the reason why most people don't succeed or don't reach their goal is all based on their self-identity. They don't identify as someone making six figures or, you know, a $500,000 a year. And then they self-sabotage subconsciously because of that. They still identify with like something that happened to them 10 years ago when they were like in high school or something. You know what I mean?
So I love it. I love it, Michael. Thank you very much. Once again, I am geeking out about this because that is my jam. That is where we go in and we tweak certain things. So like you said, these are things that subconsciously have been created when you were a young kid, whatever the case is, maybe older. You've created negative limiting beliefs. These negative limiting beliefs, you have to spot them and switch them out. Sorry. And these are all things that I do with my coaching clients. The first thing I do is that. And what you just mentioned is a concept that we call the 3 S's. Your state, your story, your strategy. This is something that Tony Robbins talks about a lot, the famous Tony Robbins. So the first thing you have to look at is what is the state you're putting yourself in? So we kind of talked about that, you know, how to get energy, how to be in a proper frame and all that. Then it's your story, what you just mentioned. If you don't believe that you're that broker making 6 digits, 7 digits, having a team under you, this, that, and the other, you're never going to get it. It's as simple as that. If you're not believing it, it starts with you. You're not subconsciously creating that. It's never going to happen. The strategy comes last. Unfortunately, people think it's all about the strategy. They're like, hey, oh, what's the app you're using? Oh my God, what are you doing? What are you doing this? Oh my God, what's happening here? The strategy is the last part. It's all about the psychology. 80% is psychology, 20% is mechanic. All the brokers that are listening to this know how to make money. They just don't have the proper psychology. That's where I come into play. That's where my programs come into play. That's where there's this great community of, like you said, these books, these things, that really bring you to the other level. And then what happens is that you start bending reality. You start doing things that you can't even imagine that is happening to you. I'm getting really fired up because, like I said, this is something I'm extremely passionate about. My goal is to optimize people who want to perform. So if that's you, you guys should definitely hit me up.
Yeah. So, you know, talking about reaching you up, like hitting you up, like what is the best way people can learn about your services, yourself? How can they learn more about what you do?
So thank you for that, Michael. So I guess the best way, if you want to, first of all, you know, find out a bit more about me or whatever the case is, or like a social media, obviously I'm on all social media platforms at Christopher Dedan. Dedan is Dedeyan. The one that I'm going to invite you guys to kind of go check out the most is in my YouTube channel, because a lot of the things that I'm kind of ranting here, I give a lot of free tips, tools, and methodologies and mindsets to really become peak performing individuals within that. I do a lot of book reviews as well. So that's a great place to go check out. I'm putting a lot of effort and energy within my YouTube. I'm thoroughly loving it. So that's one thing. Second thing is, if you want to specifically reach out to me, go check out a bit more what are my services, either as a speaker or as a coach. You could go on my website, which is christopherdedan.com. And for your viewers, Michael, I'm going to offer a free 30-minute discovery call with me. So to really see if they're interested, I could definitely give them some tricks and whatever the case is to see if there's something that we could work together. So for that, I'm going to invite you to go on ChristopherDedian.com/coaching. Go check out a bit more what my coaching program is about. You can go check out what what the clients are saying about me, so on and so forth. And then from there, you can have like a couple of questions to fill out to really see how my team and myself can help you out the best. And then we'll just set up a time that works best for us to really communicate and get that free 30-minute discovery call.
Awesome. So thanks a lot for joining me today, Chris. Appreciate you sharing all that knowledge. And I'll make sure to leave below in the description your YouTube link, your website, and also your link to go directly for that discovery call, basically for all the people watching this video.
Awesome, Michael. First of all, thank you very much. I thoroughly loved it. We geeked out a lot. Thank you for giving the tip about the ring as well. So if I find one interesting, like a pinky ring, maybe I'll get that instead and check out my
Great. All right. For all the people watching, thanks a lot and see you in the next one.
All right. Ciao.